Welcome. I'm Bev Adams. I own an independent paper crafting business showcasing products from Stampin' Up. I made this beautiful card with products from Stampin' Up. I sell these products and also a few items to make crafting more convenient. I have the free detailed directions for this project on my website, and it has all of the information you need, all the cutting sizes, and pretty detailed directions. And I am using Citrus Blooms and the Citrus Blooms dies. The dies I'm using, these two cut out the stamps that I'm using. And then we've got all these leaves and flowers. And then these backgrounds, there's actually 3 pieces here. And you can use them together or one at a time. I'm using these 2 together. This one actually cuts out the inside, but not the outside. So if you wanted to cut out an opening in your card and have plain cardstock around here, you can. Or what I did was I taped these together and cut out all my die pieces, trying to get it as even as I can. And it was really pretty easy, although I confess that you will have some confetti left over. The Night of Navy is my card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I've already cut out that piece, so it's just really pretty by itself. From the center section, I went ahead and cut out this label. And this piece of basic beige is going to go on the inside of my card. I have an envelope and a piece of the fluid watercolor paper. I'm using StazOn Saddle Brown, and I have to confess, we've had this a couple of years, and this is the first project I've made with the StazOn, and I really like it a lot. I think the color is pretty close to pecan pie. And so I used my pecan pie for writing on one of the cards. I'm using Garden Green and Pumpkin Pie, and we'll be doing some watercoloring. So I've got a water painter, and I'm just using a D block as my palette. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp here. Oh, I wanted to show you the Designer Series paper that goes with this set too. It's got, oh, I guess that's a duplicate. We've got some little flowers and some big separate oranges, some more solid oranges, lemons, oranges and lemons, just lemons. And then these you could cut out, although we do not have a die, but I'm looking at this and I'm wondering if you could actually cut these out with this die after all. Let me see. No, not even close. Let me see. Nope. So if you decide to use this, you can either leave it as a rectangle or fussy cut. I went with the Night of Navy because this paper all has blues on the other side. And I was going to try and figure out how to use the Designer Series paper, but I ended up not using it for this card. So pretty though. I did make a card for a friend with Garden Green as the background, and it was lovely as well. And the paper with the large oranges that are separated, you can actually use the die to cut this out. And that's what I've used for this card. So this is the same card. This was my original card, and I decided to go a little bit darker with this. And I don't know if you can see on the video though, I didn't give enough time for it to dry out, so I've got a little bleeding. I should have used either more time or the heat tool. So I'm just inking up. This is a large stamp, and so I've got the stamp on the table and I'm bringing the ink to it instead of the other way around. Isn't that a pretty brown? And it looks like I've got a little bit of fuzz in my stamp. I was using these wipes to clean up after myself, and I think it left some lint. And you can either use some of this scrap for your greeting, or you can use that piece that I cut out. And I'm going to use that strip for my greeting. You could, again, you can go either way with the basic beige or the watercolor paper. And I'm just stamping hello. And now I'm going to watercolor. The first thing I'm going to do is put some of the pumpkin pie on my block. And this is going to be my palette. And then I'm going to squirt out, I'm really squeezing this pen, and I'm putting a blob, I think you can see that on the video, of water, maybe a dime-sized puddle. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color one of these two oranges because they are touching each other. And so I'm going to color it with just plain water. And if you want to add just a little bit of color, you can, just so you can see where you have put water. Make sure you get it all over everywhere. And you want to have enough water so there's a little bit of wetness sitting on top of the paper. But you do want to get all the way up to the edges as if you were painting with a color. And then I'm going to pick up some of the ink, and I'm going to go around primarily the outside of the orange so it makes it look extra round. And so you can see how it kind of blends out into the rest of it. And as I color in, it's kind of shading it. And it does not have to be perfectly smooth and even. And you can go darker if you want. Like if I wanted to go even darker, I could just add some more ink. And now I'm going to go to another orange that's not touching that one. And repeat this process. And now that it's a little drier, I'm going to go ahead and finish this other one. If it bleeds from the orange to the orange, it's not as critical. After I do this orange, I will dry it all a little bit more so that it doesn't bleed with the leaves. Okay, now I'll dry it quite a bit more, and then I will also wash this off and move on to my green. So I think that's dry enough. And before I move on to the green, I want to just really quickly clean my brush just by brushing it onto paper towel, or this is a wipe, until it comes out clean. And now I'll use my palette, my clean palette for green. This is Garden Green. And I need my same big puddle of water, and fill in the leaves with the clear water, just like we did with the oranges. This time I'm putting most of the dark on the veins and the edges. I've got pretty dark on that one. And again, I'm going to move on to another leaf that's not touching another one. And we'll see if I can get away without bleeding this with the orange. And take a look when you think you're done with the leaves, because I don't know how many times I've gotten done and then realized, oh, there's a leaf or two left up. It's easy to miss them somehow. For the stems, I'm using more ink and less water. And so I'm not doing that wash part with just the plain water. I'm just going with not a dry brush per se, but not enough to float and spread. And I think that that's it. You certainly could color the flowers. I'm leaving them white. I think what I'm going to do is go back and get a little bit of orange for the centers. And for that, I think I've got enough ink here. Just need a little bit just to highlight that. I see a stem that I missed here. So clean the brush and go back and get that stem. There we go. I will be using Wink of Stella on the flowers. And just a little sparkle. Before I die cut those, I wanted to do a little bit more stamping. I want to stamp a little bit on the envelope and on the inside of the card. So I'm just going to stamp there. I'm not going to paint these. If you do really feel like you need to paint, just use a little bit of water and do it faintly. The watercolor paper is made for using plenty of water, and this really isn't. And so it might curl and maybe even fuzz up for you. I've got you raised up a little bit. I need the white platform, the number 1 platform. And these are die cutting, so we need the number 2 die cutting. And then my more cut up plate. My beautiful picture. You can use regular Scotch tape if you want, or masking tape, like for painter's tape, especially a low tack one. And that holds your dies where you want it. And then top that with another clear plate and roll it through. Bring you back down. And we're ready to put our card together. So I'm just putting the inside layer in. Oh, a lot of glue. Do not recommend that you use it quite that much. And I should have glued this earlier to get this drying out. A lot of times if you've got something really fine like this and you get carried away like I did on the inside layer with thick blobs of glue, it will squirt out these narrow pieces, and you don't want that. So I'm going to try and just go thin glue. And we'll put this right in the middle. I'm just eyeballing this. I probably should actually measure it out, but I think I'm going to put the smaller of the 2 oranges up in this corner. And this is actually layout number 11. So the one that's on the top row on the way to the right. And I wanted to pop this up with dimensionals. I almost forgot, so I got a little bit of glue there. And I'm putting this one down here. And I've got my greeting I'm going to put across here. So I don't want to put, I just want to put glue on this end and dimensionals on this end. And I don't know whether I'm going to cut this straight or slanted. I think I'm just going to do straight this time. So one dimensional on the left side. Ooh, I didn't cut that very straight, did I? And a little bit of glue on that side. And I do want to put a little bit of this baker's twine. This is very vanilla baker's twine. From, let's see, I think it's Baker's Twine Essentials Pack or something like that. And you can tie a bow. I think I did on my samples, but maybe I'm just going to loop it around a little bit. I mean, who needs it to be a full bow, huh? I'll put that there. And that's done. What do you think? Here is the web address for this project, where you'll find the free detailed directions and links for the products I used. Just click the links and you'll be taken to my online store at Stampin' Up! Click Home near the top of my page and you'll find lots of resources. Under Shop, you can find the products I offer to make crafting more convenient. How to get free products with my frequent shopper rewards, and a link to my online store at Stampin' Up! Click Inspiration to scroll all my projects back to 2011, most with detailed directions and videos. Though the products in those older projects have been retired, you may find techniques, layouts, or color combinations to inspire you today. If you're new to stamping, you might want to look at the basics. You'll find how to cut card bases and layers, and some of my favorite tools. Under Organization, you'll find lots of free resources such as catalog tabs, labels and case inserts, color tools, and much more. More organization means more time for stamping. You can learn about my Evernote notebook. I have a note for every current product that Stampin' Up! Has for sale right now. It really makes finding just exactly what you want very easy. And you can create your own notebook and search through all of the things that you own to find just what you need. Come stamp with me here in Ventura County, California, or get the best deal of all and join my team of crafters. The team is called SIP Together, and it stands for Stamps, Ink, and Paper Together. Be sure to subscribe to my website and on my YouTube channel. I'd love to hear your comments. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you soon.